Far Cry is a franchise synonymous with two things primarily: chaos and villains. Without a doubt, the announcement of Giancarlo Esposito as the primary antagonist in Far Cry 6 was a cause for excitement. As Anton Castillo, the ruthless dictator of a fictional tropical country named Yara, how would he stack up to the notorious villains that came before him? Let's dive in. Before beginning your journey in Yara as Danny Rojas, male or female, you are greeted with a wealth of options and menus, starting with accessibility. You can customize your experience extensively, and while I can't test the effectiveness of the accessibility options, it's great to see more developers focusing on it. You're also able to choose between action mode, your standard Far Cry experience, or story mode, which is noticeably easier. Far Cry 6 wastes no time in preparing you for Revolution as you are thrust into the middle of a battle and introduced to Anton and his son Diego in the opening act. Then, similar to Far Cry 5, your opening few hours are spent on a contained area of the map, which will introduce you to key elements, mechanics, and a few main characters. I found this to be a good setup and became immediately invested in my journey as Danny and the eventual alignment with Libertad. Libertad is the name of the rebel alliance you will work with for the majority of the game, as you and various rebel groups look towards Revolution. The main story elements revolve around 3 separate groups, each of which contain a wealth of individual tales and the types of characters you expect in a Far Cry game. As Danny, you are tasked in collaborating with each of them and helping to bring unity to those oppressed by Castillo's regime. I really enjoyed the story elements of Far Cry 6 and believe it to be the most cohesive narrative in the franchise to date. Working with the various rebel groups, building those relationships and experiencing the highs and lows along the way provided more feeling than I expected. By the end, I had grown to love Danny and truly felt as though I had claimed my part of Libertad and the Revolution. Meanwhile, Esposito doesn't disappoint with his performance. It feels more indirect and hands-off than someone like Vaz or the Father's Family, but that's to be expected given the setting. Far Cry 6 paints a broad picture of a country struggling with identity while undergoing a decades-long civil war. While it doesn't speak to a specific real-world example, it presents a dictator drunk with power, slave labor, oppression, and more issues that we've seen across the world for millennia. While you are challenging Castillo, it's less about direct confrontation and more about the battle for Yara as a nation. Also notable is Diego Castillo, who not only plays a larger role than I expected, but does so with excellent scripting and voice acting as well. Yara itself presents the type of sandbox experience you know and love from Far Cry. There are a load of activities for you to partake in, ranging from rebel-specific tasks, such as taking out anti-aircraft guns, checkpoints, and of course, bases, to recreational activities like fishing, racing, hunting, and even cockfighting. You can go about most of these in nearly any way that you choose, and have a wealth of weaponry and vehicles to do so. You can prepare for your activities at multiple rebel bases located throughout the island, which you now navigate in third-person perspective. The amount of customization for your character is substantial. Your loadout consists of 3 main weapons, a sidearm, 5 pieces that comprise your outfit, and your Supremo, all of which you can change at any time. Outfits have set specific focuses which complement your style of play or even individual activities, and you're able to equip full sets with a single button, assuming you have all 5 pieces. I like the ability to mix and match here while being able to specialize a little more to your personal style of play than past entries. Weaponry, meanwhile, is as wild as ever. You'll find a huge range of weapons around Yara, either in chests or for completing specific tasks. These can be upgraded at workbenches and tuned to your liking. The most rare weapons are uniques that come with set mods and bonuses, but can be truly devastating. It's an absolute joy experimenting with these and seeing what chaos you can unleash with each. Though by the time you find several of them, it felt as though the workbenches became redundant as I stopped using the standard weaponry. Just a quick note to find the Impact Driver LMG as soon as possible. You can thank me later. Using a unique currency you find around the island, you also are able to buy special weapons called Resolvers, as well as several Supremos. Resolvers consist of the because why not weapons, including the CD launcher, EMP blaster, pyrotechnics shooter, and more. They're fun to use, powerful in the right situations, and give you a good laugh in the process. As for the Supremos, you'll recognize them from the original gameplay showcase as the backpack that shot a load of rockets to take out a tank. They have a range of powerful capabilities that can change the course of battle, including rockets, fire, poison, and even healing. Using your Supremo acts as an ultimate ability that has a cooldown timer, so while they're great fun, you can't use them endlessly. And I'll just say, taking out tanks, boats, and helicopters with a barrage of rockets never gets old. Far Cry 6 welcomes back companions, affectionately known as amigos, and they're just as absurd as you would imagine. Chorizo stole the show after the game's debut, and he is joined by a gator, a champion fighting cock, and more. Each has different capabilities and can align with your playstyle depending on how you approach situations. They don't have a large impact on gameplay and seem to be primarily for your amusement more than anything else. Though I will admit, seeing Guapo grab an enemy and proceed to shake them back and forth always made me laugh. There are a few grievances to mention. While playing on the Xbox Series X provided a beautiful and fluid gameplay experience, the frame pacing of cutscenes was lower and made them feel disjointed, which could be a little jarring. It felt as though the gameplay was enhanced for current consoles, but cutscenes were designed for old hardware. Gameplay itself is generally excellent, but for some strange reason, clambering is very hit or miss. The game seems designed to allow you to clamber onto specific objects or ledges, but often leaves you frustrated that you can't easily navigate the environment. Being an open world game in nearly 2022, I hope we were past those types of issues. Far Cry is a large game. The main story, should you choose to do all of the Libertad recruitment, and you should, will run you approximately 25 to 30 hours, and you'll still have a vast amount of areas to explore, activities to partake in, and challenges to tackle. After completing the main story, you are also presented with Insurgency events, which are weekly events offering timed tasks and new enemy leaders to assassinate. Combined with a healthy roadmap of planned expansions, Far Cry 6 will offer fans content for a long time to come. I've truly enjoyed my time in Yara. It's the franchise you know and love, and all of the craziness that comes with it, but with a more engaging and cohesive narrative. If you're a fan of the series, or simply enjoy action sandbox type titles, it's sure to put a smile on your face. For even more detailed thoughts on Far Cry 6, be sure to check out our written review on seasongaming.com.